Mm. Hello, hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to Fun Because God Said So with the amazing Amber Blakes. You guys, listen. Amber is so amazing, y'all. If you don't follow her, stop what you're doing right now. Follow her. Click on all the things, figure out where she is, and figure out a way to be a part of it. She is just, oh my goodness. She is just an inspirational voice. The way that the Lord speaks through her and to her and how she shares from her heart. She's so transparent, and she's just a genuinely kind person. And so I connected with Amber some time ago. I'm not quite sure how long ago, but ever since then, I have just been so blessed from the posts that she makes, from when she goes live, and the communities that she hosts and things like that. She's written several books. You guys go look at her books. I'm going to allow her the opportunity to talk about her books and everything that she's created. I'm also a part of her community, Journaling for the Generations. It's one of my favorite places on the internet because the Lord is present in that community. Just a place where we can connect and talk about what God has inspired us to write in our journals. Several different prompts that Amber gives us that helps us to journal in our private time with the Lord. Just so many amazing things, you guys. So I am honored and excited to have a conversation with Amber today. You guys join in with us in the comments. Leave any questions you have for either one of us. But we're here to talk about the specific topic that I believe at the beginning of the year, Amber put out a few posts talking about her word for the year, and the word was fun from God. God gave her the word fun, and that word is, God has been speaking to me about that word, and so every time she posts, it just resonates with my spirit. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is for me. Thank you. So Amber, welcome. I want to allow you to introduce yourself and let you have the floor.
Thank you, Erica. I receive all of that. I appreciate all the kind words, and I'm excited to be here today with you, Erica. I'm so glad that we've connected. Everything that you've posted and that you offer in the community that you found or that you founded has really blessed me too. So I really feel like there's a divine intersection going on here. And I hope that your audience and my audience who are going to watch this live or who are going to watch the replay cross support and also get blessed by what we're going to talk about here today, because there is a blessing in it. I am Amber Blakes. I am by profession an educator turned author, and I am a daughter. I'm a sister. I am a wife. I'm a mom, and I am God's girl. I have loved the Lord for as long as I've known him, which has been since my childhood, teenage years, and I've grown with him in various capacities and in various churches throughout the years and in various communities, but I've always had a love for prayer, for the word, for church, just God things. That has just always been what does it for me. But I am so grateful for the journey that I've been on in the last 12 to 24 months, because my relationship with God, my walk with faith, and my life's roles in my career and in the roles I play in my family and in my community have really taken a turn. I had a daughter 2 years ago. Her name is Amina, aka Honey Baby, and she was a beautiful surprise. And when she came, so did a lot of purpose pushing. And so with having her, I made a decision to walk away from my 20-year career in education and to be a stay-at-home mom and to be present for my family and for myself. To be honest, I had to focus on my health mentally, emotionally, and physically. I had been successful in my career, but my career had really brought me to a point of burnout. And I knew that I needed to do something different. And so I consulted with my husband. I took a leap of faith and I got a new laptop for Christmas, and I came home from that career and I started to write, which was a dream of mine that I'd always wanted to fulfill and lacked the time and the energy to do it because I was giving so much to family and work. And here was my opportunity. And it was a lot harder than I thought it would be. It was just a lot harder than I thought it would be, just to be honest with you. And this was in 2021. And 2021 was a year that, in theory, by definition, should have been an easy year for me, but it wasn't. Transitioning from being a working mom to a stay-at-home mom was probably the hardest transition I've ever made in my life.
Wow.
I had to face, my own mental health, my own emotional health, things that I'd been ignoring for years within my own body, in my home, in my finances. I finally, although it's not less work, it's different work. And it's work that forces you to look at you. And when you had to make the choice to be a homemaker, to be at home with your family, and then also walk out the assignment that God has given you in the earth at the same time. And so the collision of those two things, on top of a whole lot of life, okay, COVID, death in the family, adulting, just the things that we have to be responsible for, especially having young children. And for us, we had young children and an adult child. So we were dealing with college, kindergarten, daycare, just all the things. And so I have always been a serious natured person. Like, I like to laugh, I like to be goofy, I like to have fun, but in general, I'm a serious person. And I've always been very pensive, very thoughtful, very inquisitive. I have to kind of like shake the dust off a little bit to let loose and have fun and not be so uptight. And that was just the picture of what happened to us last year. And so I have gotten in the habit at the turn of the year to talk to the Lord about what he wants to say to me about the former year and what he wants to say to me about the year to come, and to give me a word. And for a few years now, he has done that for me. And those words have been my theme through the year. I return back to them. I study their definitions. I look for them in the Bible. I pray on them. And I use them to help me stay in a state of reflection. And so I did the same thing at the end of 2021. And we were hit with an unexpected death in the family right at the turn of the year. And I was desperate to hear from the Lord more than usual because of it. And also, at the same time, simultaneously, I had created some community online called Journaling for the Generations. And an idea that the Lord planted in my heart was to create a challenge in that group called 12 months in 12 days. And so basically what it is we take 12 days in a year to hear about the entire 12 months. So we take a day every month to hear the Lord speak to us about the transition of months. And then at the end of the year, we have a 12-section journal entry or anthology from the Lord of how he has spoken to us about our year. And so I started that in January of 2022. And I said, God, what is my word for the year? And because I'm used to hearing his voice, because I've been speaking with him and walking with him for a few years, I feel really certain I know what he sounds like in my mind and in my heart when he speaks to me. And I heard him say fun, like flat out fun.
Right.
And I was like,
right.
No, that's not deep enough.
Right. Right.
What? Like fun? Like literally we're in the middle of funeral arrangements for a family member. We've had, I don't know how many quarantines at school with our children, trying to keep them on track at school. I was dealing with postpartum depression and anxiety. My husband had just had a spinal fusion, so he was recovering from surgery. And I heard him say, I need you to have fun. And so I was like, okay. I might have to wipe the cobwebs off here, and like the Tin Man on the Wizard of Oz, get the oil because I'm rusty here, because we weren't having fun. Life was heavy. The spirit of heaviness had fallen on my house, had fallen on my heart, my house, my home, my temple, as well as my family. And I wasn't really sure about how to go about doing that. So that's a word all about it, all by itself. Is at what point do we forget how to have fun? Because if we look at our kids, they know, child, they know, they show us. So that's where the word came. And that was the backdrop that it came to me, or the backdrop that was there when it came to me. So I don't know. I feel a pause in this moment. Is there anything that you want to jump in and talk about?
I am like, wow. I love that the Lord is so mindful of us. He's just, what I'm learning, because I shared on Tina's show, Conversations on the Couch. I shared about, when I spoke with her, about how the Lord has been transforming my mindset from a religious mindset in my perspective of God, and relationships and just everything, even how I view myself, and how that mindset has kept me trapped and hostage from really truly experiencing the goodness of God, and his love, and from me being able to experience how the joy, like true joy, I just never knew that before. And so a lot of what you're saying is resonating with me, because when the Lord introduced me to the knowing, and to the idea that I could actually be free and have fun and it be okay with him, and I'm not like required to be like this robotic type of Christian person who's just kind of shut off from feeling, or just being able to be okay, and know that God loves and accepts me like truly. Um, it's still freeing me. Like, I'm like, God, is it okay for me to just do things that give me peace? Like, is it okay for me to just relax sometimes and like be in your presence? Like, is it okay to have fun with my kids and like not make it into this whole overly spiritual thing? Like, can I just be a person? Like, is that okay with you? And I feel like when he started talking to me about fun, it was coming around the time when I was going through this really deep depression. And, I've managed depression my whole life, so it's not a new thing for me, but I was noticing that I was going into like, I just was lower than I normally am, and for longer than I normally am. And I was just like, God, I was crying out to him, like, God, I need you to help me. Like, I need you to help lift me out of this place that I'm in. Yes, I love you, all of those things, but I need fun in my life. And as soon as I said that, it was like it released something in me, and I felt the Lord agreeing, like, yes, daughter, that is where I'm leading you into. I want you to know that it's okay to have fun. And so what he began doing was showing me opportunities where I could take it easy, take the pressure off, and even in my creativity, like I was making it a thing of more of a like a business type of thing rather than enjoying creating. Um, and I felt the Lord tell me, get back to the basics. Like he was leading me to number one, um, he started leading me to focus on my family. And it's like my mind was way out here, and then he kind of reeled me back in, like to what really matters. So he was saying, I want you to put all of those different things that you're doing on the shelf. And so when he told me to put graphic design on the shelf, I was like, oh God, yeah, that's where I make a lot of my money. So what are you saying? Put that on the shelf. And so what was happening was I was overworked and I was overwhelmed, and it wasn't fun anymore. And so the Lord was trying to restructure my life in such a way that fun could be my daily reality, like so that it could be um, what we thrive off of in our home, me and my children. And so he told me then, I want you to homeschool your children. And so now I'm home with the kids and we get to have fun together. And it's like transformed my mothering completely. Um, just I'm not so uptight and wound up and just tense all the time. But so now he told me, now I want you to build a business with your children and incorporate your family into your business and don't exclude them. Because what happened sometime last year, my son was 4, Landon, one of my twins. He was 4 years old. And I was like really bogged down in work, because I work from home. I was really bogged down in work. And he was like, mommy, 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 like coming over to my hip, mommy, mommy, mommy. And I'm like, son, I'm doing something right now. I'll be right there. And he came back about 3 or 4 times. And then the last time, and every time I was like, I'll be right there. Just give me a second. I'll be right there. And the last time he came and he said, mommy, and he was so like, his whole demeanor and countenance was just had dropped. And he said to me, mommy, why don't you like me? And I was crushed. I was crushed. And I realized in that moment, Lord, my focus is way off. Like, I need you to help me shift how I do life because my children are being affected by this. I didn't even realize how it was affecting me. And so being depressed and having my children say, mommy, why don't you like me? That was a wake up call for me. And since then, and of course, God, still breaking off that religious thinking of everything has to be perfect and you can't be a full person, with flaws or whatever. All of these different things and how he's been transforming our home life, just dealing with me as his daughter. It has truly been freeing. And so lately what we've been doing is painting together. And it's so therapeutic. Oh my gosh, it is extremely therapeutic. For my spirit, it's so calming because my thoughts are like free flowing and I can actually worship God during that. And it's just, I'm like, God, you mean to tell me I could have been doing this all along? Like, we could have been having this experience together, me and you. And it could be a form of worship, just like in my journaling, just like when I'm singing or anything that I'm doing. You want to be a part of this too. And so I realized I had kept my relationship with him exclusionary, where I would only introduce him into certain times of my life. But really he was saying, no, I want to be a part of all of it. And so now it's like, wow, the whole world is opened up now. Just knowing that God says it's okay for me to have fun and like doing that with my kids, and it has just taken this weight off of me. And I'm still trying to stay in that. I'm trying to let it be a part of me, like not just for a season, not just for a certain time, but as a lifestyle, like as a part of how we are, who we are. And so that's why your posts have been so encouraging and inspiring, because even in the simplest, when you post pictures with you and your children, you guys are out in the community doing something together. Like, God, see, that's the kind of stuff that I want to do. Like, I just love your insight and your perspective on how having fun with God, in God, has been impacting your life.
Ooh, you said a mouthful, and that is so good. And I know whoever's going to be listening to that now and in the future is going to be blessed, because it was so relatable, dealing with depression, and not just because there was a pandemic or because you've had children, but something that's been a long-term struggle for you, as it's been for me. Work burnout and overload, and balancing that with parenting. These things, they're heavy. They're heavy. And I believe that's why this is not just a good idea. It's more like an instruction. Like when you said, I didn't know I could have fun. It's like, yeah, not only can you, but you're supposed to. He wants you to. It's like, it's almost like a prescription. And I don't take anything away from medicine, therapy, nutrition, rest, all of the things that we're supposed to do to stay mentally and emotionally happy and healthy, or at least strong and healthy in those ways, girded up and fortified. But it is God's will for us to enjoy our lives. I know a lot of us who might be watching us familiar with Joyce Meyer, the Bible teacher, and she has a TV show that when I was first coming into my relationship with God as a Christian, I used to watch every day. It really helped me. And the title of her show was Enjoying Everyday Life. And it was based on John 10:10, that God has come for us to, and Jesus came for us to enjoy life in abundance and to its fullness, in my own paraphrase. And I remember thinking to myself when I watched her show, and it's so funny, the Lord has given me this memory, that when you watch her preach, she's not like a really fun-loving, like jolly person. Like, she is like a firm Bible teacher. And I thought to myself, like, wow, but the name of her show doesn't really match her personality. But what the Lord showed me is that it's because it's what she needed to live her life to the fullest, as it is what I need, because I struggled with depression. I struggled with anxiety. I struggled with burnout. I struggled with not just, I won't say struggled, but my personality is wired to be more introverted, to be more thoughtful, to be more introspective and reflective and calm and even. And so I am very logical and methodical and analytic. And so that just kind of lends itself to being more routine and less spontaneous. And what the Lord was showing me for this year, for 2022, and I do believe this is not going to be just for 2022, that he needed me to have fun, because he needed me to break some of the ways that I believed I was wired, some of the ways I believed I was supposed to show up, some of the things that I needed to do differently with how I show up in my relationships. Let me tell y'all something. Laughter and having fun saves marriages, saves parent-child relationships. It brings people out of very dark places, mentally and emotionally. It's medicine to your body. It strengthens faith. It makes God look good. So for those of us who are out here talking about or thinking about what our role is in the kingdom of God, or in the body of Christ, or in the church, or purpose in life, and you want to do that for the glory of God, whether it's a traditional career role, or whether it's a ministry role, or whether it's being an entrepreneur or a family role, you want to give God glory in anything that you do. And you're not going to do it if you're miserable, period. It doesn't matter how well you execute the thing. It matters, the disposition is the word that I'm coming up with, that you do it in. And I'm saying this not because I've mastered it. I'm saying it because I needed that word. I still need that word. Because I was really caught up in the details and the checklists and the to-do lists of how do I be a better wife? How do I be a better mom? How do I become a good businesswoman? How through the years can I be a better educator, and do things better with my students? How can I keep my home better? You know, all the many things. And what he was showing me is that you can check all the boxes, and if you're miserable, you've missed the point. You've missed the point. You've I won't say you have an unappreciated blessing. So that's what I wanted to share about that. And this is why this was my word. Another thing is because I needed to break out of how I was carrying out the things he had given me. And because there was no way, one, that I was going to enjoy it, two, that I was going to give him glory doing it, and three, I wasn't going to bring anybody closer to me or him, not showing how much fun I was having doing the things. Okay. So fun wasn't just my word because I needed to have some fun on a surface level. It was because I needed to be able to fight depression and anxiety on a spiritual level, as well as on a physical level. I needed to be able to bring light into my home where we were dealing with a spirit of grief. I needed to give myself some relief from the pressure of going from one career to another career, where I was very skilled, expert level in one career, and now I'm a novice in another career, and I don't really know what I'm doing. And my confidence is shaken, and my self-worth and my self-image and self-esteem are kind of taking hits. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing out here. I just want to hide and go back to bed. I'm writing books. I'm an author now. People want me to speak on interviews and podcasts and YouTube channels now. And I don't know. I didn't know you were going to ask me to show up and become a brand. And I was like, that's a lot of pressure. And so, and on top of the things that go with a child that doesn't really sleep well, and a kindergartner and a child in college, and just, all these things that were coming up for us. And it was like, not only do I need you to have fun, to combat the spirit of heaviness, the spirit of depression, the spirit of anxiety, the spirit of grief, the spirit of the pressure, and the spirit of imposter syndrome that is trying to come keep you from doing what I have for you. The other part of that is that he was like, I need you to show everybody else how much fun you're having too. And that's where my fun in 2022 hashtag came from, on my personal Facebook page and some on my Instagram page. And I've even put some of it on my TikTok because it's fun over there. And I have gotten so many good responses from friends and family in my DMs and comments. And when I finally see people face to face about, I love what you're posting because it's really helping me. So that was just an encouragement from me. If God gives you an idea, just go ahead and run with it. I'm saying that to you like I'm saying it to me, because I have a few other ideas I haven't run with yet. But yeah, because I think it's helping other people combat, because there's a lot going on, if y'all haven't noticed, in the world, locally, nationally, and abroad. So people do need this. And I had to fight the negative voices inside that were saying that people would be jealous if I posted these kind of things, or people would have that, oh, must be nice kind of attitude toward it. And if that has happened, I haven't seen it. I can just only hope that it's inspiring someone to take on this attitude of still having fun and enjoying the life God has given us, and the fun that we need to have, and put that on display, because it's evangelism, quite frankly, is what it is. And, I took one of those spiritual gifts tests a while ago, and one of the types of ministry that I scored high for was evangelism. I was like, what? Because I think we kind of have an idea of what that looks like, at least in America we do. And I was like, oh, I don't kind of see myself like that. And what God spoke to my heart is he was like, Amber, evangelism is making me look good. It's making me attractive to people who need me in their lives. And so it looks a little more different from what you're used to. Because you can stand on a street corner, you can knock on doors, or different ways you can have crusades and fill up stadiums. But if people don't like what they see when they get there, what is it? How are you showing that I do things different because you do it with me? But, so those are the things that he was showing me about this. And I feel like there's one other thing that I need to get out. Let me see. He talked about why we should have fun. He talked about showing other people. And it has just been a great, great move for me. It's been a great, great move for me. It's really helped me stay stable, and it's helped me remember to stop and pause. And you're right about the kids. If you don't have kids around you, get some kids around you. They'll show you how to have fun. And it's just amazing to me how we take the gifts and the beauty that God has given us and we make it so serious. We turn a real fun thing into something that's like not fun at all. And so I've had to do that. Oh, and I remembered the last thing. If you scroll back through your memories, which is something I try to encourage my community to do, your memories on Facebook, your camera roll, your calendar, your journals, you will find that you're probably already having fun and you're not aware of it. And especially our camera reels, because those are mostly the highlights of our life. And so what I found is that as I went back to look for ways to show and create content out of it, we were actually already having a lot of fun. But when I had to stop and think about my days or my week or my month, those are not the things that automatically came to me as a highlight. I automatically thought of the negative things, thought of the heavy things, thought of what was going wrong or what hadn't happened yet. And that's why this practice in the 12 months and 12 days challenge, journaling challenge, has been so good, because when I stop at the end of every month and I say, God, what do you want to say to me about September? Like, I remember how it went for me, but what do you say about it? He will give you a totally different perspective. And so when I go back through my camera roll, what I see is blessings on blessings on blessings. And what I remember from here and from here is not always that. Like some of us have this bent to the negative. And especially in this day and time, in the atmosphere we're living in, it's easy to go there anyway, even if you're generally positive. But when you go back and then truly look at what actually happened, and then you go the next step to say, hey, God, what do you want to say to me about this? He'll show you just how much fun you've already had, just how much you've already been blessed. And it falls upon us to take the time to be aware of it, to be intentional about it, and to seek him about it.
Amber, I'm just like, oh my God, all the things. Oh my goodness. The thing you said about, making things serious when they don't necessarily have to. I have made a whole religion out of that. Like, oh my God, that has to go. Like, get that out of here. Like, break that off. Like, I cannot exist that way. And so what he started showing me was, even when you were talking about how that is evangelism, like enjoying life. When the Bible talks about, I pray, wish upon all things that you prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. That you prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. And my father always reminds me of that scripture, because he knows me. He knows how serious I can be, and like I'm like, I gotta check off all the marks. I gotta do this, and this. And he's like, Erica, listen, you're missing it, honey. You're missing it. And so what God started showing me too, I was like, God, I have this heart for you, and I just want to talk about you to the nations, and I just want to like do all this evangelism, right? All this stuff for God. And he's like, yeah, that's great, and I've called you to it. But also, here's what I want you to know. And this thing messed me up. I was like, ooh, okay, wow. Um, he was saying, look at you. He was saying, look at how when you go out into the world, like actually out, like at the library, at the grocery store, at the park with your, don't engage with people. You're not even looking at people. You don't even want to interact with people. You are not frowning, but your face is, you're in your own head and you're missing people. And so how can you then say, I want to reach people, but you're missing the opportunities that are right in front of you? And I was like, ouch. Ow, God, that one hurt. But it was so true. And what he actually said was, Erica, you are as mean as a snake. You are as mean as a snake. And I was like, wow, God, did you have to say it like that? But it really, it really got to me. Like, I was like, I guess you're right. I think that's actually accurate. Defenses that I've learned from trauma to put up, to guard my heart and protect myself from things that I've made up in my mind that are going to happen or could happen or will happen. And the Lord has shown me, when you're out, that is your opportunity to evangelize. And it's not in this formal way that you think it has to be. It's you being in me. My Holy Spirit is within you. You're walking in me. So just be and hear my voice. And if I instruct you to say something, that's when you release it. But people, you don't know how you just showing up as you can impact others and the way you interact with your children. And so what I do now, it's like a constant flow. I'm the same in my home as I am. And that was a challenge. That was a shift. Like, I was like, when I go out, because, with 3 young children, it's just me. I'm like, boom, boom, boom. I'm about to go to this grocery store. I'm about to get these things. And I'm like, don't talk to me. This is what it has to be. And this is what's And so I was totally Xing out the rest of the world. I was in my own little cocoon, like, don't come over here interrupting my flow. But God is like expanding my vision beyond my own little sector of the world. He's like, no, these are your opportunities. Just take off that whole ideology of what you think it's supposed to be like, what you think you're supposed to be like, and just be and listen to me and be free. And that's it. Don't overcomplicate it. Because I have this tendency to overthink and overcomplicate things. And then I end up stressed out and burned out in all the things and leading somewhere down the road to depression. And God is like, no, 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 no. Come on out of that. Come on out of that cycle. And so what has the grace over my life has been the fun, has been just be silly with your kids. Like, when we go out, when we're home, we're super crazy, silly, jumping all over the walls. Just anything goes. And so we're the same when we leave home, in the grocery store, silly, going crazy. I used to feel like I used to try to edit them in public. And God was saying, why are you doing that? These are children, and they're going to be children. And that's who they're supposed to be. So why are you judging what you think people are thinking? Why are you trying to change them and their behaviors? Because it's not like they were being like disrespectful or rude, or they were just being children. And so he was showing me, even when I have visitors come over, don't send your children away. They live here and this is their home and they're allowed to have fun. So it's like God has been transforming just the way I approach everything, but through that mindset of it's okay to agree, it's okay to have fun, and take off that whole thing of what you think life is supposed to look like. It's like, no, life is happening and you're a part of it, and it's okay. It's okay. He just keeps telling me it's okay. I'm with you, and it's okay. It's okay. It's okay that your children are loud sometimes. It's okay. It's okay that you are extremely creative and you have all these ideas. It's okay. Like, stop judging every little thing. Um, and that is evangelism, because I used to feel like, God, if I'm not doing it a certain way, then people can't receive it. And he's like, I'm God. Who are you to tell me people can't receive it? It's like, trust me in you. Not you leading, but trust me in you to lead you. And so what I realized that came, because my whole idea of God was like in a box. Like, I was like, this can only be God. Nothing outside of this box. And God is so outside of that box. He's like, what are you talking about, a box? I I'm not limited by any sense of your imagination. Like, I just I'm learning to understand that, you know, God does desire for us to live in an abundant life and to have joy and not be all not be all stressed out all the time. And, just it's like, I'm like, God, this can really be my reality. Like, I can enjoy my family and I can actually be pleasing in your sight while I'm doing this. Like, this is a thing. And he's like, yes, girl, that's a thing. So yeah.
Yes, you said a big word or a big phrase, stressed out. So I talked about heaviness, anxiety, grief, depression, and all the other things that having intentional fun can help combat. But stress, oh, that's the one that we all deal with. And what I have realized has happened in these past years, globally and locally, is that the stress has been compounded. So it's like stress on top of stress on top of stress, and you don't even get to relieve the lower layers of stress before more stress comes on. And so it becomes the kind of stress that's unhealthy. And what a great way to combat stress is by having fun. And what you said, oh, there's so much that you've said today that's resonated with me. And I know that we're going to keep talking because of it, how you've been called to homeschool and how you've been called to build business with your children. These are things that God has been speaking to me about too. I haven't started the homeschooling journey yet, but I do believe it's on the way. And but definitely building business with them. And what you said about being who you are everywhere and how much of a challenge that is. And for most of us, that stems from not being able to do it as children. And so we learn how to compartmentalize parts of who we are for certain roles and parts in life. And I honestly will say I'm still struggling with that. I'm still struggling with that because I sometimes feel like there's daughter Amber and wife Amber and teacher Amber and woman of God Amber and mommy Amber, and friend at brunch Amber, like, you know what I'm saying? So I almost feel like there's very few people who've seen all of me. Very few. And I know that's not the will of God. That's not his will for any of us. He loves us, he created us, and he loved what he created. And he wants us to be who we are everywhere we are. And not to say that different methods of communicating who you are can't be used in different spaces and platforms. Like I'm not going to be like wife Amber at work, there's certain boundaries that you want to draw around, different roles that you fulfill. But the God giftings in you should really permeate everything you do. And it should be a part of your language and your actions. And I was watching Pastor John Hanna this last weekend with New Life Southeast Church in Chicago. And he was talking about how, basically this very same thing, like what I do and don't do is who I am. Like, this is my lifestyle. This is me. I don't do it because of this or not because of that. I do that because this is who I am. And I'm good with who I am. I'm good. Like, everywhere, whether you are or not, I'm good. And so that I just really wanted to like jump out of my chair when I heard you say that this journey for you to enjoying life more, how it's kind of really helped you be that. And what a good example for your kids. What a good example for them to be able to embrace all of who they are, where they are. That's good stuff. That's so good. You helped me today. I know I came here to talk to you, but you have helped me. And I believe it does help others. I get good reactions online when I show people what we're doing over here to have fun. And one of the things that I felt strongly about in my spirit when you were speaking is that I think there's people out here who I can hear them in my spirit, who will watch this and they'll say, I don't know how to have fun anymore, or I don't even know what I like to do anymore. Like, I don't know what makes me happy. And that's a real thing. That is real. Now, I have not had trouble with that personally, because I've always known that I love a good book on a hammock. I love to go to the beach. I love to listen to music. I love to travel. Like, I have a list of make Amber happy things. So, I don't always get to do those things, but when I get to do them, I know. But I have encountered relationships with other people where I've had that conversation where it's like, oh, you're going on vacation or you have some downtime. What are you going to do? And they fill that time with other work.
Mm.
And it's sort of like, okay, well, like, what makes you happy? What gives your soul rest? What puts a smile on your face? And a lot of us don't know anymore. And so I guess if I had to walk away from this conversation today with any admonition or any suggestions or encouragement, it would be to find that thing, or find that thing again. Remember back. For some of us, these things have to be unearthed and dug up because they're so deep down below life. But there was something that we used to enjoy doing when we were kids, and that's the case with a lot of us. I in my journey with God, having to do some self-discovery and having to dream again with God, I had to remember back to what I used to dream about. And do you know what I had to do? I had to call my mother.
Wow.
And I had to ask her, I had to say, Mommy, what did I used to talk about being when I grew up? Because I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember. And y'all, I have been through some trauma in life, but I haven't been through as traumatic of a life as many other people have been through. So if I struggle to remember my dreams, how much more those of us who have been through terrible things, that we've been resilient enough to bounce back or power through, or that God has brought us out of. So I just want to encourage you all to walk that walk with God. Ask him to take you back to memory lane, to dream again, and to remember what used to give you fun and joy again. And that's it.
That's so good, Amber. I was going to ask you that. I was going to ask you what do you do to have fun? And I was going to ask you, how would you suggest people find their fun? Because I know that even for me, when I started painting, I had never painted before. I do other creative things, but I've never done this. And I was literally sitting in my office, and God was telling me about fun. And I was like, I have fun. I don't even know what I like to do anymore, because I was so stuck in the routine of life and settling into roles of, I am a mother, so I need to be doing this, and this, and this, and this for my children. And then I have this business, so I'm doing this, and this, and then the joy was gone because I wasn't having fun. And so God literally said, you have paint in the closet, you have paintbrushes in there. Why don't you paint a picture? And I was like, really? Okay, I don't know how to paint. He was like, that's what it is. You're going into, but I don't know how. Instead of letting fun lead you. Like, just go with it. Just go.
Mhm.
And so that has been, oh my gosh, like it's a
Mhm.
whole new world. It's a whole new world. And I'm just like, God, thank you. Thank you that this is a gift. Like, thank you that, we're not called to be miserable. We're
Mm.
we're supposed to have joy. We're supposed to have joy. And my life had been so joyless for so many years. And I'm now in this place of, wow, God, like now I understand and learning that you actually do love the real me, not the curated me, but the full person. And I love what you said about God. He loved what He created. Oh, that is music to my ears. He created us. He loved what He created. So
Mhm.
thank you, Amber. Is there anything that you want people to know what you have going on? Talk about your books. Please talk about your books.
Okay, yeah, I have two of them here. I don't have all of them. I'm just leaning over to grab my copies. Um, yeah, so other than having fun on purpose because God told me to, and I think that that's not just a me word, that's a corporate word. The first book that I published is called Consoled in Christ. It is a short but a powerful book. This is what it looks like right here. It's a 7-day journal on the word consoled in the Bible. And the 7 days is because I was able to come across 7 scriptures that show 7 different ways God wants to comfort us.
Oh, wow.
And I actually wrote that for myself. I've been creating what I've been needing, is what my books are right now. And my writing and the purpose of my writing right now. And I actually wrote that when I had a very colicky baby who wasn't sleeping well, and I was struggling with the postpartum depression. And so that was part of my way out, was that book. And I've also written, but it's basically for anyone who wants to break cycles of negative emotions, grief, anger, depression, all of that, heaviness, or just feeling like they're in an overall funk. And then I wrote a journal for the generations, equipping your future with wisdom from the past. And this is a guided journal that has 15 topics and entries for 3 generations for you to record the things that you want to pass on to the next generation, or that you want to remember from the generations past, so you can pass those things on. And that book birthed the movement that I founded called Journaling with the Generations, which is a group of people who are Christ followers. And we believe that we can break vicious cycles off of our lives with the power of our pens. And we journal, but we also go a step further to hear what God has to say about what we're journaling, so we can record that, to hear what He has to say about us, our generations, and beyond. And lately, the turn or the next steps that has been happening in that group is He's sending me on a mission to extract what's in people's journals, because He said He has solutions on the earth that people have on bookshelves and they're not sharing. And He actually gave me a good word about that I'm going to share live in that group soon, hopefully today, but this week definitely, about what happens when we share what He's given us, that we know is for not just for us. Some things that God tells us is for us, but some things He tells us is for everybody. He just told it to us because He wanted us to be the vessel to get it out. And so He shared a lot that's here that other people aren't sharing. So He sent me on a mission to go get that. And so we're talking about sharing what's in our journals now, in that group. And I also have a blog. It's called Everything with Amber. It's the focus is faith, family, and fun. And so you can find that on WordPress. And I'm just excited to keep writing and to keep speaking what He has given me, and we'll just see where it goes from here. I'm really just on a path of self-discovery, to use the gifts that He's given me and the dreams He's put in my heart, to leave some things behind for me and others and beyond me. And that's what I think I want to say. Let me think about the topic for today, fun. What you said, Erica, when you were just last talking, the word joy keeps jumping out at me. There's a few things you've said that have jumped out at me, and that was the next thing, is that God wants you to have joy. And I think joy kind of feels like maybe like an archaic or like an abstract idea. Like, what does that practically look like? Because we know, according to Nehemiah in the word, it says the joy of God makes us strong. The joy of the Lord is where our strength is, right? So what does that even mean, right? So when people are struggling to have fun, or they don't even know what they like to do anymore, follow the smiles and the laughter. Okay, just go where the laughter is. You might have to think about, what's the last time you laughed? Like, you generally, I mean, you genuinely had that deep belly laugh or that organic smile. And then whatever that is, let it be that for you, and your fun doesn't have to look like somebody else's fun. Because, for example, it can be knee deep in a murder mystery novel on my hammock in my backyard, and that is fun for Amber. You heard me? Fun, fun, fun. And my husband will look at me and he's like, with a basketball in his hand or some golf clubs or a hammer and a nail, because he wants to do some housework, and he's like, what are you doing? That looks so boring. That's my fun. Okay. Yeah, but yesterday he was replacing ceiling fans, and he lit up like a kid when he turned the electricity back on, and everything worked. So I was like, but for me, I'm not trying to replace ceiling fans for my fun. So that's the other thing too, is let your fun be your fun. What gets you going is going to be just as unique as you are. Okay, so you like to paint, and then that's also interesting to know in relationships too. Like, your spouse's fun doesn't have to look like your fun. Your children's fun doesn't have to look like your fun. And you might make some concessions and some compromises and do what they like to do, as part of relationship building. But it's whatever puts that good, genuine smile on your face, that good, deep laugh in your belly. Follow the laughter and the smiles, and you'll find your joy in your fun.
Amber, you have just made my heart sing today. I'm just so happy that you accepted the invitation. I am so blessed to be connected with you. I'm so excited for what God is doing in you and in your life and your family. Please continue to share, because it is truly impacting not just me, but I'm sure everyone who is attached to you. And I just pray God's blessings over you. I pray that He continues to expand your platforms and blow your mind, and keep you in a perfect peace, and keep him keeping you in a place in remembrance of fun. So thank you so much.
This was awesome.
Yes, I have genuinely enjoyed this. I'm gonna go back and rewatch this a couple times.
Yeah, me too. And if anyone's watching the replay, comment, let us know what it's good for you guys. I would love to hear some feedback on the conversation.
Absolutely. You guys follow Amber. Do it right now. Do not delay. Also join all the things Amber Blake's related. You don't want to miss what God is doing in her. I mean, it's amazing. It's phenomenal. So thank you, Amber, once again. Have an amazing day.
Thank you. You too, Erica. I appreciate the opportunity. Bye.
Bye. Bye, you guys.